So living in a condominium, either you love it or you hate it. In this video I'm going to share my personal thoughts and opinions about living in a condominium here in Costa Rica compared to where I used to live. I'm originally from the Netherlands, where we basically don't have condominiums. So in this video I'm going to share my thoughts and my opinions of living in a Costa Rican condominium. If you have been following me on my YouTube channel, you know that I've moved to Costa Rica about a month ago. So I'm not an expert of living in a condominium. I've lived here for a couple of weeks, and however I can see the difference between living in a gated community or living in a neighborhood without any security or fences or gates or whatever. So I've been, like I've said, I've moved to Costa Rica with my family about a month ago right now. And the reason why we've moved to Costa Rica is that we want to buy a piece of land, a house with a piece of land around it, a nice rainforest, to start a nature conservation or reforestation project. However, this is not, you cannot realize something like this within one week or even in one month, or maybe even in a year. So the idea was, to spend the first week around the capital of Costa Rica, San Jose. Actually, we are in Alajuela right now. That's close to the airport, and we basically planned to buy a car within the first week. Well, that was basically not realistic, so we had to spend more time here around the capital, around the airport, to look for a car, to buy a car. So that's why we spent a couple of weeks here in a condominium. So if you're not familiar with condominiums, a condominium is basically a gated community. It's like a couple of blocks of houses. Like this community is around, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 houses maximum, and it's just all gated. There's a big fence around it. You can see it here. There's the fence. Turn around. This is the end of the condominium. Here's the fence. There's a fence. There's a little thing for the security guard. Here's the fence. Here starts the condominium. Goes all the way there. Then it goes around the corner. That's where our house is shown. I'm going to show you the apartment we live in a little bit later in this video. And at the entrance of the condominium there's a big gate with a security guard, and so you can only enter if you live here or you have permission to enter. So here in Costa Rica, condominiums are quite common. It gives people a feeling of security. Of course, condominiums are for the people who can afford it. Houses here are not that cheap. I'm not really sure how much a house can be here. Maybe $50,000, maybe even close to 100,000, maybe even more. It depends, of course, on the condominium you live and what services it has. And so that's basically what a condominium is. It is a gated community with a security guard. We have a small pool here. We have a small gym, and there's a small playground for children. And basically, that's it. That's the that's the services we have here. So maybe I can show you around a little bit. Like I've said before, this is the end of the condominium. This is the end of the street. This is the last house, and I'm going to walk towards the the pool and the gym and the entrance. So we have lived here on and off for a couple of weeks now. You know, this is the apartment we are in right now. It is rented on Airbnb, and but the owners of the apartment, they live next door. We became very good friends. They helped us out with finding a car, helping us out with lots of things here in our first weeks of living here in Costa Rica. So that is really appreciated. So we, you know, sometimes the apartment was rented to other people, so we had to move out and spend a couple of nights in another Airbnb. But now we came back and we spent the last week here in this apartment. So what about my? So these are my personal thoughts and opinions about living in the condominium. Like I've said, the country where I'm from, the Netherlands, we don't have this condominiums. Sometimes we have like small block of houses with a gate, but that's only for the, you know, for the parking lots and for the maybe for the backyards of some houses. You know, some houses have this, but there are no security guards, and the front door of the house is just accessible. You don't need to open a gate or something like that. So I wasn't grown up with condominiums. I didn't know anything about it. Before I moved here, I've been in Costa Rica a couple of times before, and I knew, you know, condominiums exist here. You know, but my dream is to have a piece of land with a nice house, with a piece of rainforest. So anything but a condominium. But you know, because we had to find a car, you know, to move around in the country, we had to spend time here in around the capital, and we found this condominium to live in. Actually, my wife found this condominium. So you know, we decided to spend time here, and to me, it's like. You know, it has two sides living in a condominium. On the one hand, it feels like, to me personally, it feels like a prison. You know, because you have a gate around it. You cannot go anywhere. There's a security guard. You know, there's barbed wire everywhere, and so to me, this feels like a living in a prison. Because, like I've said, the country I'm from, the Netherlands, we don't have any condominiums. Everything is accessible. You know, there's criminality everywhere, like in every country, but nothing to be, you know, too serious about. So that's you know, one thing that I learned about living in a condominium. To me, it feels like living in a prison. Of course, you have, you know, we have a nice pool here. There's the pool, and there's the gym, and if you go the other way around, that's the end. That's the beginning of the condominium. There's a little playground for the kids, and so basically that's it. That's the condominium. If you go outside, you know, you are on the streets. You can you know, hear the street. Sorry, we are close to the airport, so there's a plane flying over. So here basically the streets are without sidewalks, like you know, like in the Netherlands, you know, there's sidewalks everywhere. So if you want to go out of the condominium and, you know, do some shopping or go to work, you need to have a car. So we don't have a car right now, not yet. So this is really difficult for us if we want to go out, you know, and without a car. That is really difficult, and it feels really, you know, you cannot move around. We cannot move around like we used to in the Netherlands. But on the other hand, there's also positive things. We are here in a country where the difference between rich and poor is it's much bigger than in Western society, like in Western Europe or in Northern America. So here the difference between rich and poor is much bigger, and it's also more obvious, So that's why people choose to live. People who can afford it choose to live in a condominium like this. So it can give people a sense of security, because you cannot go in the condominium if you don't have access, if you don't live here, or if you don't have permission to enter the condominium. You basically cannot enter the condominium. So that is one advantage of living in a condominium. But to me, that is also there are also two sides to this story, because this does not help making the difference between rich and poor less. In this way, the difference between rich and poor will always be obvious and always be visible. So, but I do understand the local people here that because we are in close to the capital, and criminality is usually higher in the capital, so that's also the case here. So there are pros and cons of living in a condominium. What else? To me, basically, living here for a few weeks, it's nice. It's safe and secure here. It's quiet, except last night. Last night was Saturday. I'm recording this video on a Sunday, and last night, Saturday night, there was a party nearby, and with lots of music and karaoke. And, but that is something that's part of Latin culture, and but that's also something that you have to experience in a Latin country if you live in a city. If you live outside in the rural areas, these things don't happen that much, or at least you don't hear it because your neighbors are not that close. So those are the pros and cons of living in a condominium based on my thoughts and opinions. Like I've said, the country where I used to live in the Netherlands, we don't have condominiums, at least not like this. I can maybe show you around a little bit around the condominium. So all these apartments have their own enclosed parking lot. Everything is clean here. There's garbage collection every day. So it's quiet here. So that's the good thing about living in a condominium. However, we have two young children. The oldest one is 6 and the youngest one is 3. And in the Netherlands, they used to play around, in our neighborhood, and they had their little bicycle. And here, that is not possible to do for them. They have their little playground. I can show you the playground. It's over there. It's over there. There's the playground. That's the entrance of the condominium. There's the security guard. And I'm sorry, there's a car coming to move. So basically that's the apartment we live in upstairs. Unfortunately, today new people are moving in, so we have to move to another apartment. But hopefully, in the next few days, tomorrow or either Tuesday, we will have a car and we can move further inland. So I'm going to show you a little bit around. So this is the entrance of the condominium, of the apartment, and Let's see who's upstairs. We are packing all our stuff. So it's nice and clean. It's a spacious apartment. This is where the owners live. Classical music coming. So this is our condominium, our apartment. Like I've said, here's the dining table. There's a living room. Here's the kitchen. There's my mom.
Hello.
This is my wife. So this is basically where we live. This has been our, house basically for the for the past week. The bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. We have 2 bathrooms. So this condominium is really, it's spacious. It has been cleaned during the week, and we were very happy living here. But now, like I've said, new people are moving in, so we have to move to another Airbnb. And I think those are my thoughts and opinions about living in a condominium here in Costa Rica. Either you love it or you hate it. To me, it has both sides to the story. On the one hand, it feels secure, it's safe, it's clean, it's quiet. But on the other hand, to me, it feels like living in a prison with a gate around it, with barbed wire and with a security guard. So, I'm happy if we can if we can leave the big city behind us and move inland and be surrounded by nature and wildlife. But of course, we, like I've said, we have moved to Costa Rica just a couple of weeks ago. So we are now in a transition period, and it just takes time to find our long-term place where we want to live. But for now, we have to spend time here around the capital, and so that's what I wanted to share with you about living in a condominium in Costa Rica. My thoughts and opinions, pros and cons. For sure, there will be other reasoned pros and cons of living in a condominium. If you have other pros and cons, please let me know in the comments. I'm really curious about your experience of living in a condominium in Costa Rica. So please don't hesitate to comment below. Of course, subscribe yourself below. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk soon. Goodbye.